One take wonder.
That's us, one take wonder.
Paul Steiner, and originally I'm from Terre Haute, Indiana, but have moved quite a bit since then. So.
Just a few times.
Just a few. My birth mother came up to Terre Haute from where she's from and had me, and I was adopted straight away from birth by my parents, who, that's all I know is my parents, and raised me in a Christian home. During all that time, just grew up, normal childhood, all that sort of thing. I grew in the Lord. I just knew who Jesus was from the moment I was born, really. And I'm very grateful for that. I mean, when the church doors were open, we were there Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, and anything else that would happen. So we were there often. I gave my life to Christ when I was 11 years old, and so I knew enough then, I want to be with Jesus. I certainly don't want the alternative. That's no good. In my college years is where Jesus really became Lord, because it became my faith. I got out of my parents' house, it became my faith. What am I going to do with this? Different people would come in maybe and speak, or you'd hear different artists come in and do a concert or something. In particular, say Rich Mullins, and they're sharing about this Jesus that, I knew of him, obviously. I knew him, I knew of him. I'd read my Bible some, but this Jesus that they were talking about was so intimate and so countercultural, so anti-establishment, so real. And it was a Jesus that I had just not really heard of in that way. And hearing that relationship that they had with him, it made me I want that. Authenticity is one of my highest values that I've had forever. And sincerity, If it's not real, I don't want it. I grew up in the 70s and 80s where, and especially in the 80s, there was televangelism and all that. And it just was so repulsive because it was so obviously fake. And then when you hear somebody like a Rich Mullins or something where it's oh man, this is real and Jesus cares for the poor. And I'm not hearing that out of anywhere else. And Jesus cares for those who are oppressed, and to see what he was actually doing with his life. Going to the poor, to the marginalized, going out into the Native American reservations, that's incredible. And I'm saying there's something different here. And there was this talk of this relationship with Jesus, Jesus meant everything to this person. And that's who I tried to pattern my life after with that. And more than that, I tried to just develop it on my own then. Okay, Jesus, if you're real, then I want to know you. I want to know you. It's been an incredible journey. Still on it. Still got loads to go. Still. As white as this beard is. Still got loads more to go. Never really wanted to do ministry or anything. I grew up in that, but of course, I see what ministers are doing, and or I see missionaries, and I'm there's no money in that. All I wanted was money. And so any career day would come around, and any career that I thought would have dollar signs behind it, that's the one I was going to go take in. There's pastors and they're poor, and missionaries are even worse, and they're always asking for money. I want nothing to do with that. When I was in school, and this is how off I was, I would look at the ones wanting to do missions, and I'm yeah, because you can't fit in here, you can't do anything here, so of course you got to go there. Incredibly arrogant and prideful and wrong. When I got my first youth ministry, I was actually blessed to be able to be in the same state with a few of my buddies from school. We all got youth ministries and everything, and we all they were hey, let's go do a missions trip together. I'm okay, all right, sure. It'd be fun because I'm with them. So we went to Mexico, and that's where everything changed. Just everything. God got me out to the desert, literally, and broke me down. And my heart just it broke, and he just poured his love into my heart for the people of the world. And it was a good moment of just being able to repent, and just go, yeah, man, I got it so wrong, didn't I? Through that, then everything had to be about kind of missions from there on, whether I was, not necessarily me being out there full time, but I think it did plant the seed. Hey, this may be you at some point. I remember where I was trying to get a group to go to Ireland the first time. Ireland comes into the picture for us, where I dig their music. I'm starting to read about some of their Celtic Christian spiritual formation stuff and the richness. And I'm and then you start to discover how Christianity took to this island without any physical conflict. There was no warfare. It was just the gospel did what the gospel's supposed to do. And I'm talking to Abigail, and Abigail's like, no, we're not doing that. We are here. That was never on the radar. No. And then I remember one night, I get a call from one of the missionaries over there, and they just said, and Abigail answers the phone. And she said, well, it was Philip. And I go, oh, what did he want? Well, he said he felt like God was saying he wants to invite us over to work with him. I just started crying. I just lost it, because here I've been praying about it. It's been really pounding on me to go there. And she goes, why are you crying? I'm like, why do you mean I'm crying to go? We just got a call, a literal call to go. And so we ended up going just to go and scout it all out for like a week in February. Now, February in Ireland is horrendous weather. I mean, it's not great anyways, right? Rain's coming at you like this. It's always windy. It's cold. It's a damp cold, even inside the homes. Like you always got a nasal drip and a hoodie on and a hot cup of tea or coffee in your hand, right? So, I mean, it is miserable. We get on the plane, could not wait to get out of there, right? And no offense to the missionaries that we were there with, it was just what it was. And I'm going, what was that about, God? What was that? I'm like, she's never going to want to go. I don't even know if I want to go. It was good because he told us, you have to strip away any romanticized notions you have about mission work or this place or any other place. You can't do it. You can't have it because it's going to be hard. And it's going to be days like this where it's just hard and difficult. And so I need to get you ready. During that time, I really felt like, okay, it's time. But I have to wait on Abigail. I can't do it. By this time, we have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, nearly 2-year-old. And I'm like, and then we find out we're pregnant with our 3rd, right? And I'm like, there's no way. But one night, Abigail, unbeknownst to me, could not sleep. Apparently, the Lord gave her a real peace, like, okay, well, if he wants to go, we'll go. And so, man, from there, it was like, we're in this, we're doing this. So we found a missions agency, started getting prepared, started raising support. And so for what I was getting paid as a chaplain, along with my support, I was actually able to afford to live in Dublin. And it gave me an opportunity to have direct influence on students and staff and everything. And it was incredible. It was incredible. Yeah. We came back from Ireland the first time. Visa situations changed to where we had to go, all this sort of thing. I did not want to come back. I remember even one day, like when I was there in Ireland, I'm coming back from work and I'm going, oh man, this is so great. I feel like I'm finally home. And it was great. And I'm like, thank you, Lord. I finally feel home. Well, then you're ripped from all of that. Abigail loved it there. She loved it. She loved the people there. We were just really starting to hit our stride. And then to have to go was one of the most devastating things we've gone through. I know I was just angry and bitter. And why do you have us back here? I don't want to be with these people. You called me to go there. That's where I'm supposed to go. That's the calling you put on me. I shouldn't be back here. I shouldn't be with these people. I remember we went and visited some friends at another town, and they were at this mega church, right? And it was kind of the epitome of everything I was against as far as the American church, whatever like this. I'm like looking around and going, look at this. Why am I here? Look at these people. They're just doing this. It's cultural for them. Why? And it's just all ugly coming out. And I just remember sitting there, and the Lord said, who are you to discriminate my love for these people? Yo, that one was, look around. I love these people just like I love you, and just like I love those people back over there. Why can't you love these people too, like you love those folks over there? And I just repented, and I remember I just going, I'm so sorry, Lord, you're right. See, the problem is he gave me a calling and I didn't give it back to him. Whenever he gives you something, you have to offer it back up to him, because he's got to take it and purify you in the process. You can't hold on to anything. He gives you only to have you give it back, just so that you know it's in His hands now. I am eternally grateful for that. I mean, the God of the universe. Like, He's got enough on His plate already, you know? He spoke to me. I'm nothing special, but He loves me that much. I love Him. I trust Him. He's proven Himself over and over and over again to me. He doesn't have to answer any more prayers, honestly. He doesn't. He's done enough. He's done enough. But yet, boy, I sure hope He does answer some more prayers. I need Him every day. I've got that relationship that it's transforming me every day. It's this fulfilling this deep longing and hunger. It's the best relationship that you can have with anyone. See, if you're watching this video and watching this series of videos and seeing people telling about their stories about Jesus, I just encourage you to keep going. But don't do this alone. Do this with others. Do this with others that are even already in Jesus, because we were made to have this relationship with God. And then He says, when He saw us and He made us, He says it's not good that man's alone, and we're made for each other. And there is something so beautiful, because that's how love is expressed. And so we do this together. So my encouragement is find a fellowship of believers in Jesus that you can walk alongside of and come and discover. Yeah, I'd say pray. Just cry out to God. If you don't know how to pray, just cry out to God and tell Him what's on your heart. Just tell Him your desires in your heart. Tell Him your things you're wrestling with. Tell Him the things that you're frustrated about, and just ask Him to speak to you, and He will. He'll do it either directly, He'll do it through another person, He'll do it through His Word, but He will do it. He will guide you, and ask for eyes to see Him and ears to hear Him, and He will definitely do that. So.